Saint Francis de Sales, Doctor of Love. Saint Francis de Sales believed that the human heart was made to beat in rhythm with God's heart, and he wrote about these two motions as the love of complacence, receptivity, and the love of benevolence, active love. His motto was "Live Jesus, let Jesus live in you and me," and he taught by example, trying to practice the little virtues of humility, patience, simplicity, kindness, and gentleness. All in life is to be done through love and nothing through force. Love in this case is an act of the will, not a sentiment of the heart. It is seeing well in another and choosing and acting to make that goodness grow. We should accentuate the positive rather than condemn the negative. We should assume a positive stand towards everyone. The measure of our love is to love without measure. Saint Francis de Sales says that we must fear God out of love, not to love Him out of fear. He was not a gloomy, austere saint, but most amiable and friendly with all. Endowed with every virtue, he excelled in meekness of heart, a virtue so peculiar to himself that it might be considered his most characteristic trait. His meekness, however, differed altogether from that artificial gentleness which consists in the mere possession of polished manners and in the display of a purely conventional affability. By this virtue, which grew in the heart of Saint Francis de Sales as a delightful effect of his love towards God, and was nourished by the spirit of compassion and tenderness so tempered with sweetness, the natural gravity of his demeanor which softened both his voice and manners, he won the affectionate regard of everyone whom he encountered. Making the crooked paths straight and the rough ways plain, Francis de Sales has shown that the way to devotion was so accessible for all people that thereafter piety shed its light in every place, in the palaces of kings, in the tents of warriors, in the courts of law, in the homes of business and manufacture, and even in the humble hamlets of shepherds. Saint Francis de Sales' work on spiritual direction led to the publication of the great classic Introduction to the Devout Life and the other great but later work, a treatise on the love of God. In this work, he describes the nature of love. Divine love, perfected by love, leads to union with God. He says there should be conformity of the will of soul to the will of God. The submission to the will of God from everyone is called for. Fundamental to these works is the doctrine that the spiritual life is not just for the religious and the clergy but for everyone. He considered it a heresy to say that a lay person could not attain sanctity and holiness of life through the grace of God. He shows how anyone can strive for and achieve a life of piety and devotion to God. It is for these reasons that Saint Francis de Sales is considered also the patron of lay spirituality and the lay apostolate.